I apologize for not getting this to you sooner. I'm going to be leaving out of here in about 45 minutes to an hour. And if for some reason you can't make it here today, that's not a big deal. We can arrange another time. Like I said in the messaging, right now I'm just trying to get a quote because I don't know what this is going to entail. And likely we'll have to do it in small chunks. And so what I'm going to do is record the part that I would want the biggest and or maybe the first hit at and knock at. So when you come into my driveway, this is the part that I think I would want to work on first. I have two apple trees here, a crabapple and a Japanese crabapple. Both had insane, phenomenal blooms this year, but they definitely need to be trimmed back. I'd like the kind of the overarching branches to that to be trimmed away. And then there's that cable wire that's sitting right in there. And I know it's not a problem, but if you have a ladder or tools long enough to trim around that just to give it some breathing space, that would be great. On the crabapple, there's a lot of dead wood in there on that tree, and I'd really kind of like that to come off. I don't necessarily need all these greens cleaned out, but if you were to come and do the job and clean them out because you wanted the grass down to get in there, I'm perfectly fine with that. We actually used to mow around it, but we stopped doing that just because we didn't necessarily need that space if we were letting the apple tree grow, but you can see the other one we mow around. So maybe by getting this trimmed back and cleaned up, then we would mow around it again, or maybe just lace it with lupins or something like that. I have a lot of basswood growing. I've got a couple of really large basswood in the yard, and I have basswood growing. In and around this apple tree, those basswood could come down. I love the basswood, and I know other people love them. So if you were inclined to dig them up for another customer, I'd be perfectly fine with that. Not all the property, but the ones that are like right around the apple tree that would inhibit the growth. Those would be fine. And if you wanted to just chop them down, that would be fine too. When I say chop them, they're still little saplings. So that's on the right side of the driveway as you come in. On the left side of the driveway as you come in, I've got this space also that we used to mow. Had a lot going on, stopped mowing it, threw some wildflowers in there. They didn't do so great. But I would like to get this cleaned up because, and that might even mean taking down all those lower branches of that spruce or whatever that one is there. Because what I would like to do is lace this with lupin seeds this year so that next year we get a big old lupin road front here. That would be super awesome. In terms of like from where these anemones start, so that's these, I'm sure you know, but that's these starlight flowers with the white, or starlight leaves with the white flowers. This part of this piece of the property has a dip to it. Also in there that you can't see right now was a bunch of daylilies. The anemone overgrew it, as did, I don't know if that's phlox or goldenrod coming up, but it all overgrew it. And so I'd really like to figure out where those lilies are and get them taken care of, either dug up and replanted, which I wouldn't want you to do the digging up. That's a whole lot of extra job for you. But maybe getting a lot of this anemone out to clear this space again. These saplings, that one would need to come down. And then the other big part of this section, so this whole, I'll walk it so you can see it, but this whole left section right here, there you can see there's big, there's big old apple tree deadwood back there. I would really like that cleaned out so that the basswoods that are in there can have room to flourish. And if that wood can be used by you, you're welcome to it. Otherwise, maybe we chip it for compost or something of that sort. Like this sapling, I would want all these little saplings that are not basswood, I would want to come out. But yeah, this whole section, there's some, you know, dead wood and stuff in there that I just like. It's just a good brush clearing. This is red dogwood. We cut it way back last year because it had actually grown about 4 feet into the driveway. So we cut that way back. We didn't really get flowers this year. I think next year we'll be better off. But even through here, a lot of little saplings coming up that, so like that spruce there, I would want that gone. There's some other, maybe birch, maple, whatever, all those kinds of saplings I want gone. We've got plenty of those around the property for my bees, as well as the surrounding property. So my backyard plus the surrounding property. So I really would want all this extra dead stuff hauled out, cleaned up real great. I would love, if the cost is, if I'm able to cover the cost, I would also like all these dry leaves compiled in one area that I could just use as for my compost, because that's just fantastic for compost. But I'd really want that cleaned out. And then as you get closer to where I have my trailer setting, this is a whole lot of white gooseneck loose strife, which is wonderful. And if we're able to clear through here without killing my milkweed, that would be great as well. In here, you can see I've got peonies blooming. One, and I had a red one. Oh, a pink one back there is gonna go. Once this area is cleaned out, like, so this area gets a whole lot of these maple saplings for some reason. I would like all these maple saplings cut down. They can get thrown on a pile out back. I have a little burn pile, or whatever's easier for you. If it's easier for you to throw it on the truck and haul it away, that too. But I'd really like all that cleaned out so that the basswood, you know, as you can see, I got some smaller ones coming up. I'd really love the basswood to be able to flourish. And the reason for that is the basswood blossoms and with thousands and thousands and thousands of flowers, and it is such great honey, and it's such a nectar source for the bees that I really want them to have access to that. So yeah, so this would be my first big part. There's plenty other things in the yard that I would like cleaned up, but I think this in and of itself would be a solid job, you know, for a couple of folks, or however you run your team, or I don't know. I don't even know time-wise what that would look like. I'm not a good evaluator of the time. So that being said, and actually maybe this next part I can probably do a lot on my own. I did last year or year before, but we have 2 garages. One is attached and one is detached. And so this one closer to the garage, all those maple saplings I had cleaned out a couple years ago, but those suckers grow like weeds, so it's all up again. So that's on the detached garage. And then if you come over to the other side of my detached garage, I have the same thing happening. And like the other space, this was once a really great flower garden, tons of lilies in it. But the anemone kind of took over, as did the blackberries. I love the blackberries for the beads, but I really need that thinned out. And then all those maple saplings. If that was a rare tree, I'd be like, don't touch it. But there's so many around, and they grow like weeds. They're great early pollen and nectar for the bees to get started, but they're not long-term pollen and nectar for the honey making. And there's plenty in the area for them to get their early pollen. So I don't know that this would be something that we would knock out in the first job. And like I said, I've got a small electric chainsaw that coming out and knocking out these saplings is, you know, takes me the afternoon. I just gotta put on long sleeve and haul it away. But in terms of cleaning stuff out quite a bit and giving the lilies and the peonies and everything a new space and breath, even the lily of the valley flowers, plants that are in there, those have overtaken whole pieces of my property. And they're pretty, and they're a little bit of pollen and nectar, but they're not mass amounts of pollen and nectar. So I just want to be smart and careful about what I'm doing. So not the whole property. This is just the front quadrant that I want to tackle first. And in any of this, I also saw that you have an arborist. If there are any trees in and amongst this that could safely come down and be donated as cordwood for a veteran in need, or a single parent in need that you're aware of, I will happily approve and donate that. I don't necessarily have specific trees I want to come down, but I also know that in the spirit of thinning out and making space for certain things, that could be a possibility. And if there's a way to work that out, I would absolutely be willing to do that. So thanks for looking. I'm not sure what time you'll be coming, but my partner Keith may very well be here when you get here. He knows you're coming. But otherwise, just take a peek at the property and at that space. You're welcome to walk around the rest of the property just to see what's here. But like I said, we'll hit this first part first. Thanks for watching.